Hi everyone, so I wanted to do a video today on how your person is feeling about you, a little bit of insight on what's going on in your connection with your particular person that you have in mind. So go ahead and pick your pile. We have pile number 1, number 2, and number 3. Hi, pile number 1. So let's see what's going on, how they're feeling, what's insight. Okay. So we have, you may not always understand why certain things happen. However, there's always a higher purpose to the events in your life. Through turmoil, a blessing will soon be revealed. So it feels as if there may be a disconnection with you guys. This can either be a miscommunication, a separation between you two, or like if you're in no contact, you're waiting to hear from them, or you expressed yourself, like you expressed where you're coming from, how you feel for them, you opened up, and they are taking time to kind of understand their own feelings. So they either didn't immediately reciprocate those feelings, or they ghosted you, or whatever is going on here. Like, I'm just trying to kind of get an idea of where you guys are coming from currently. So essentially there's a break in your communication with your person, and it feels as if they're having an honest talk with themselves of how they truly feel about you. I think there was at some point them not fully understanding where you were coming from. Maybe if you opened up to them, then it seemed seemingly out of nowhere for them, and they locked up mentally. You know, it's not that they don't feel those feelings towards you, it's that they don't truly understand how they're feeling, because the information was just so much that they needed time to dissect it all and kind of sit with that, so that they don't kind of blur your feelings in with theirs. And so I do feel that they are realizing and they're recognizing through this distance how much they truly care for you, and there's an appreciation. It's a soft appreciation for you coming out with the way that you're feeling. Now, if you didn't explicitly do this, like if you didn't explicitly tell them how you're feeling, or to the extent of this, then it's being communicated on a more intuitive and psychic level, right? Like, they're picking up on your emotions, they're picking up on how you're feeling, they're connecting to that. They could feel that intensity that's coming from you, and they're trying to decipher what they feel versus how you feel. So I'm gonna flip these over and then close this door over there. So we have Water Guardian, connect with your emotions, and Eagle, see from a higher perspective. Okay, so I'm gonna flip this around. I feel better this way. Yeah, it's you expressing yourself really caught them off guard. And the way that I see this eagle is how they are normally the predator, not the prey. So this eagle, it seems as if like they thought that they had the upper hand in this situation with you. They thought that things were going a certain way with you, and they were more in control without realizing the depth of your feelings or the depth of like how you were internalizing their actions and their words. And so when you almost out of nowhere, from their perspective, said something to them, it was as if they were so focused on the goal. Like, for instance, if you guys were just casual, right? Or you were just talking as if you were friends or whatever it is. They were so focused on that and thinking like, oh, like in the depths of them, they had deeper feelings, but they didn't feel the need at the time to even address them. And they didn't feel like you were perceptive enough to understand that they had those feelings. Like, they felt comfortable hiding behind this mask. They felt like they were in control and they were the powerful one, this powerful eagle, right? And you were the prey. And so you coming out with your feelings, I see as like the storm cloud. Like, this is like a hurricane out of nowhere. And it put them in a place of shock and discomfort. But it needed to happen because, number one, they needed to see truly how you feel. And they needed to stop suppressing those feelings as well. Because it feels like if you hadn't said anything, then they might have been comfortable continuing this relationship in the way that it was. Like, there would be essentially no tower moment for them, right? Where it would just disintegrate everything that wasn't working for you guys. Like, this had to happen so that they had no choice. They couldn't run from these feelings anymore. They couldn't run from avoiding thinking about it and progressing it in whichever way. So it feels as if you might be perceiving this as turmoil, right? And wondering why this happened. Like, why did they distance themselves from me? Why did they shut down? Why didn't they reciprocate in the way that I expected or wanted things to happen? Like, what is the bigger purpose in this? What is the bigger meaning in this? And the reason is basically what I just told you, is so that they can come to terms with how they're really feeling. And they needed this time, this break, in order to really be clear with themselves. Because if they would have just came to you and reacted immediately, it's not an honest place for them. It's coming from a place of anxiety and stress and confusion. And for you to have expressed yourself so honestly to them, they have to, it's like almost like their heart was full and their mind was full, and say, well, I need to reevaluate everything from here. But it seems like they really care about you. They have really strong feelings towards you, strong romantic feelings towards you. So you're not wrong about that. I think you're perceiving this accurately. And with connecting with your emotions, I feel this is also a message for you, saying you have to do the same thing that they're doing as well. Evaluating what are your feelings and what are their feelings, and also take yourself out of the situation. Like, don't let your feelings overwhelm you to the point that you're not able to decipher what's your intuition versus what's your fear and your emotions, and you hanging on to something, waiting for a particular thing to happen, or in the way that you think that it should happen, when you think it should happen. Don't focus on the details of that, because then it starts blurring the lines of what realistically is going on versus what's kind of being fabricated in your mind because you're getting worried about how they're acting and like how things, you know, at what pace, a certain pace, right? Like you just have to kind of release that and let things happen naturally, because your initial instinct was correct. You know, I feel like for a lot of you guys, you wouldn't have opened up in that capacity, in that way, had you not initially felt that they were feeling the same way towards you. So if this is a no contact situation, it feels like they're fixated on you. They're obsessed in a way, like it's an obsessive thinking, where I would even, when I see the Six of Cups, sometimes, like if it's reversed, I don't take reversals in this, but if it's indicating to me a reversal where they're not letting go of the past. And the past is you. It's not, it kind of feels like there's another person involved here. And this is something that you would be aware of if there is another person. This could also, the person that I'm envisioning could represent also like family obligations or work obligations, or even just bad habits that they have, where they feel like that has gotten in the way of you two really exploring this. And it could even be their own inner dialogue, right? Like there's some obstacle that's keeping you guys in a state of limbo, other than this, other than them evaluating. There's like something like real world that's actually getting in the way that they have to face, they have to overcome. And what's pushing them towards that is this deepening of their feelings for you. It's almost as if like they held on to their feelings and kept it suppressed for so long because they weren't really sure where you were coming from. And it's like no one wanted to take that step, and it got to the point for you where you were just kind of tired of where things were going, that it just came out. You're like, you know what? I feel there's something more here. I feel like there's something going on, so I just need to go ahead and just say it or like do something about it, and the ball's in your court now. And so that through this is like the longer there's time between you guys, the more deep that they feel about you. It's like the deepening of their feelings, this deepening of this realization that they want to have a life with you. They want to have a future with you. They want to have a family with you. Like they just imagine growing old with you. They imagine what life would have been like if things were different, like if they would have just like made the effort before. And I don't feel necessarily that they regret it. I think that they're also aware, and this is also just confirming for you that there is a purpose in this separation, right? You nor they, I feel, wouldn't appreciate the relationship in a mature and healthy way had it just been handed to you sooner. Like you had to go through this process to really prioritize your affection for one another and to really take it seriously towards each other, you know, and kind of get rid of some of the, like this devil energy, like some of this darker energy between you guys, where you didn't have to learn certain lessons with each other. You can learn it from other circumstances or whatever it may be, so that when you do eventually, this is up to them, right? This is up to their free will to respond back and to overcome their own personal obstacles. But if they do and you are receptive to it, then it's a lot more clear, like clear energy between you guys, cleaner energy between you guys, that really are setting you two up for success, better success. And so it seems as if there's like, there's a process that they're needing to go through, okay? And right now, where they're at is they're really hyper-focused on the things, the events that have already occurred between you guys. They're really hyper-focused on the past. They're really hyper-focused on the past and the future. They're not present in the moment right now. They're very deep in thought and in contemplation. And there is a message from your guardian angels that are saying, like, they need, both of you into some capacity need to be more present in your life and look beyond the situation. It's like, it's good that you're evaluating this. It's good that you're recognizing the depth of your feelings for one another and connecting on like an intuitive level. But you need to see beyond that. Like, look around you. It's almost as if you guys are so, like, have you ever seen the couple and they're like together? Oh, I saw, actually, this is perfect, I saw a little meme or whatever of Scott Disick and he was saying how when Courtney and Travis are in a room together, it's as if they don't see that anyone else is in their room, and he's like, they're just together. They don't even, they're just so selfish. It's like as if no one else can see them, or whatever. And that's kind of the energy that I'm getting here, where it's a very beautiful thing. It's a really sweet thing that you guys share. But let's kind of break from that energy a little bit and be aware of your surroundings. And it's kind of like, I guess another way of saying this, and then I'll stop harping on it, is it's almost as if you want to just hole yourself up in your house and dream about them and dream about your future with them. Think about the things that were shared between you guys and all of this. Well, why don't you go out and get some coffee with one of your friends, or why don't you go work in the garden or do something outside of this routine that'll kind of break your mind from them for a little bit, because I'm trying to see why. I mean, for the obvious, right? It's healthy for you, but there has to be another reason, right? They're saying because they want you to really appreciate the now. They want you to be able to, it's kind of like they're saying we want you to live a full life, and it's important that you don't live in your head too much. It's important that while you're here on earth, you're experiencing the things here on earth that are available to you. So now that you know this, now that you're confirmed this information for you, and I feel like this is confirmed over and over and over again, and you feel like you're always with them, in spirit, you feel connected to them, this is a deep connection, right? And they feel it too. Allow them to ground themselves again. Allow them to feel like an eagle again that's not swept up in a hurricane. Allow them to be able to deepen their pride and their confidence in themselves, because they want to be the eagle and they want you to be the prey. Like, they want to be able to pursue you. They want to be able to feel like, you know, strong. So in the meantime, enjoy what you have around you. Like, take care of yourself and take care of the things that need to be taken care of in your life, and rest assured that they're doing the same. Because I feel like the more that you focus on them, they can pick up on that, and it's intimidating them. It's making them nervous, because it feels like they know you're watching them. They know that you're picking up on their feelings or their actions. And so they don't feel comfortable. It's not even that you're stopping them necessarily of coming forward, because I don't feel like they're in the position to do so right now, because they're still trying to evaluate everything. But it's reflected with you, right? Like, you're not fully going to be ready for them coming forward, because it kind of feels like this would be an indicator of what would be to come. Like, there might be a temptation later down the road that you would try and perceive what's going on with them as you two are connected already, rather than relying on, like, waiting for them, you know, like, just kind of like allowing it to happen. So this one always makes me laugh, but it's funny because it came up again. The Devil card came up again. And so I feel like this is, like, again, your person, if I can get this to focus, I want you to look at this card. It's the cutest card. But your person wants to be that kid, and they want you to be the caterpillar. Like, look, he looks so silly and proud of himself, and just, like, the way that I say it, he's, like, pretending to be so crazy, like, you know, hyper crazy kid. And this is how they're really feeling. It's like shy, bashful, cutesy. This kid's kind of saying, like, I know you see me. I know you see me under here, and now I have to come out, and I don't really want to be seen right now. So take your energy and put it towards, like, other things in life, so that they can feel comfortable when they're ready to come to you. Because this is so funny. Look at this. Even on here, this is exactly it. Like, Cupid's arrow. Like, don't worry. They really do see you as a prize, and it's not in a bad way, right? Like, they obviously appreciate you in all ways, but it's like that you're like the dessert. You know, they work so hard to improve and to get rid of whatever this other energy is that I was picking up on earlier, and you're gonna be that reward for all of that good work that they're putting in. And they're gonna do it at a pace that they're comfortable. You know, they don't want to be rushed. They don't want to be pushed. They don't want to be watched either, right? Like, they want to be able to do things and learn on their own without kind of like almost like being criticized for it. So that's pretty much what I get for you guys. It's very beautiful, very, very beautiful. Okay. And yeah, you're not wrong about the way that you feel that they feel about you. They have very strong romantic feelings towards you. Very strong. The feelings are very mutual. You're just a little too powerful for them right now. So, thank you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Hey, pile number 2. So, let's see what's going on with your person. It feels like they don't want to address their feelings. They're kind of running away from it. Embrace. Through each other, you find the missing pieces. Look inside yourself. Examine what is causing you to feel this way. So it feels like they just, the words that I'm getting is I just don't want to deal with this right now. Like I don't want to, I don't want to feel this. I don't want to deal with this. Like they're having a hard time comprehending what's going on. We have the Devil and 4 of Wands. For some of you, they're in a connection right now, and they see you as a temptation to leave this connection. We have the Spirit Fox and the Hunter. It's like something that you've said or you've done is having them reevaluate the things in their life. But they don't, it's almost like they don't want to be called out for something. Or like they don't want something to be addressed. Again, if this is another connection, then they don't want to address it. They don't want to make a change right now. It's as if they were going a certain way in their life. They had a certain trajectory that they were going. And your connection with them has caused a point, like it's a distracting point in their life. Like they were so committed to a certain idea in their head or a life decision or lifestyle. And you coming into their life has caused them to reevaluate it. And they feel very passionately towards you. It feels like a very, I don't know how to say it without getting flagged on here on YouTube, but it's a passionate connection. You know, it's a passionate feeling that they feel towards you. And it doesn't feel like they even want to consider their emotions when it comes to this, because they're so set. It feels very egotistical in a way, right? Which it doesn't, egotistical doesn't necessarily have to be a negative thing. You know, that's really what our ego really gets us going in our life and like working on things in our life. But that's kind of where they're at, where it's like, I had this idea in my head of what I wanted to do, and I just don't want anyone or anything to get in the way of that. Here's this again. See, it kind of looks the same to me. They don't want to budge. They don't want to budge at all. And they don't want to show their cards. It's like they're the regular person, like the instinct, the normal instinct would have a reaction. It feels very stoic. Like they don't want to show any emotion. They don't want to show any reaction. And it's causing you to feel confused. It's causing you to feel lost. It's causing you to feel like you're left out. You know, it's like almost as if you're wondering why they're not choosing you. Why aren't you choosing this connection? Why aren't you wanting to open up? Why aren't you choosing to start a life with me? Why are you going a certain direction in your life and not even acknowledging that there's something between us? Like, why are you keeping it a secret? And they're committed. They're committed to themselves. They're committed to their work. They're committed to something else. And it's like they just don't want any distractions. And it's not you that they think is a distraction. It's not about you. It's about their vision for their future. It was before you were even around that they didn't think that someone would come around. They didn't plan this for what they had envisioned. So they're trying to just do that, like focus on whatever it is that they're working on, than having to deal with how they might potentially feel, right? It just seems like they have their guard up, and they're kind of, even here is saying like, no, 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 no. Like almost a refusal to change their ways, or refusal to make any sort of adjustments, because it's just a lot of work for them to make to redo their plans in their minds. It just feels like it's going to be very challenging. They're kind of avoiding that work. They're avoiding the internal work. They're avoiding the external work with regards to any additional adjustments, again, because of their prior commitments, essentially. But it feels like fate is going to step in. They're going to have to address this whether or not they want to. Like, they're going to have to choose to make some sort of movement in this. They're going to have to make a decision, is what I'm saying. And it's not that I can't tell if they know this or not. It kind of feels like they don't, whether they know it or not, they don't care. Because they just, it's kind of like they just feel like, well, whatever will be, will be. I don't really have to do anything here because the situation will take care of itself. So they're going to have to deal with this. Like, it does feel like there's some sort of karma that's going to step in. Like, fate's going to step in and give them their karma. because this is a pattern that they've had for a very long time, and it's eventually going to catch. This is a situation where it's going to be catching up to them fairly soon. I would say within like the number 8, I'm getting 8, so I'm thinking 8 months maybe. Could be something like that, where this person, I feel, has a tendency to take on other experiences at a very surface level and keep it there. And they weren't expecting someone like you. Like someone who really captivates them and like really captures everything that they would desire in a person. And to them, they're more comfortable keeping everything at the surface. So nothing you say or do is going to change that, because they're very stubborn, I guess is the proper word. They're set in their ways. And it feels like they've already established themselves in some sort of lifestyle or connection. And so evaluating the connection with you would mean that they would have to potentially destroy everything that they've already committed themselves to. It's like the life or the dream that they had envisioned and created would have to be completely destroyed, and they'd have to kind of start from square one, which is something that they didn't expect ever doing or wanting to do. Yeah. The Tower. They're not going to be able to avoid this. And it's not facilitated by anyone, including you. It's the wheel. It's fate. It's fate. It has, whatever it is something that's gonna just completely shock them and rock them. Where they're at right now is complete avoidance. They're completely avoiding this. And in the depths of them, like mentally where they're at right now, not their higher self, not any of that, like where they're actually at, if you were to really, really look deep inside them, it feels from where I'm seeing things, so this is potentially just and this is, general read, but this is from my perspective, what I can see here is they don't even know themselves how they feel because they're not giving it any room to move around in their mind, like no ounce to budge in their mind to even think about feelings. And I don't see specifically any I don't even have a hint, I don't feel, of what's going to shock them. It feels like something so major, it's like beyond anything you or anyone else can say or do. It would have to be something huge that's like really impactful. Like if there's some world, like I don't really want to, so it's just something really, really big. And that's going to be that window for them to open up into their emotions and evaluate why they're avoiding their feelings, why they aren't being open to compromise of changing things in their life. Because I feel like where they're at right now with how they're navigating their relationships with other people and especially more importantly with themselves isn't a healthy place. It doesn't feel healthy because it's avoidant. And so they're only living from their ego right now. They're not living from their heart. They're not living from like a full spectrum of who they truly are. I think secretly there is loyalty to you. There is compassion towards you. Because it feels like they wouldn't have invested as much as they had. Even if it doesn't seem enough to you and your standards. But that they have invested more towards you than they have anyone else before. Like they've taken it further with you than they would have with anyone else. And if they're in another connection, then it's like no one would have broken them out. And the connection, if they're in another connection, it doesn't feel fulfilling. Well, obviously, if they're looking outside of it, but if they're in another connection, it feels like it was more of like things seemed good at the time, like when they got together, but gradually they grew apart and they have different vision. Again, it's this vision that they have for the future. It's different, but they've just kind of settled into what this is. So think you're gonna feel very proud of yourself. Like the biggest advice here that I see for you is to take time to yourself and to really evaluate how you feel. And to protect yourself mentally, like protect your light, and your energy. And really, something I'm getting for you is to evaluate where you feel your vision for your future is. Like, what do you see for yourself? And what kind of person, not them in particular, but what kind of person do you see, like what qualities do they possess in your life? Because when the time comes for you to either reconnect or for someone better and more suited for you to come in, you're going to be prepared for it. You're going to be ready for it mentally because you know what you're looking for. Because I feel like this, again, nothing you say or do is going to change this person or have them see things in a different way. It's going to be something major and life-changing for them. And you're better off finding out within yourself, like just a full body scan of how you're feeling and what needs adjustments. And just, it's kind of like just allowing this to pass. Not necessarily the relationship itself, if you don't feel ready to do that, but allowing the feelings to kind of wash over you and kind of get into the new season, right? Like, it kind of feels here with the snowflakes, like that's where you're at, is this resting period, the winter season, where you're recovering, right? And you're kind of just, outwardly it looks like you're just surviving. Internally, you're preparing yourself for something greater. And eventually winter passes and spring comes, you know, and so on and so forth, into the beautiful cycle of the seasons. And you recognize this. You're gonna witness this happen. Okay, so it's not like you're not gonna know this. You will see this unfold, just so you know. So that's what I see for you guys. And we'll get one more. We'll get two more. So the last message is for you is mirror who or what is triggering you. So identify your triggers and work through those so that those are cleared out of the way. You have less triggers, and get grounded. Saying to connect with nature. You're very empathetic and sensitive, especially right now. So find moments and ways to ground yourself, and again, let the feelings wash over you and allow them to sit with you as long as needed and to pass over you when they're ready to pass. Okay? So that's what I see for you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Hi, pile number 3. So this is going to be your reading on how your person's currently feeling about you and their intentions. I feel like this person is deeply committed and in love with you, probably. I wouldn't be surprised if some of you have talked about getting married or want to get married, or they're just envisioning a life with you, a committed life. It's kind of like them saying, like, okay, so we're really doing this, aren't we? We're really look what came out. Twin flames, your passion ignites. It's like, we're really about to do this. We're gonna go elope. We're gonna like take it to the serious level. Balance. Love is not always about agreeing for the sake of it. A great relationship is one that both supports and challenges. You may not always understand why certain things happen. However, there's a higher purpose to the events in your life. Through turmoil, a blessing will soon be revealed. Let me close this door. I have no idea how it reopened. That's kind of weird. Okay. Snake, shed old skin, high priest, intend and create. Yeah, this person feels like they want to take all their dreams and fantasies of what they envision with you into the real world. It's like, I don't want to just keep talking about it. I don't want to keep fantasizing about it. I don't want to keep dreaming about it, dreaming about you. I want to do something about it. It feels like this person had a major wake-up call. For some of you, it was a conversation that they had with another person, like a close family member, close friend. Or it was like, kind of like a dream, or just this moment in life where, you know, you're walking and you're like, oh my gosh, I really love this person. Or, oh my gosh, this person is like always on my mind. This person's constantly like being considered in the things that I do or the things that I say, or like my feelings are always connected to them. It's like, if I'm constantly fantasizing and dreaming about them, this obviously means like basically I'm already committed to them. So I might as well just do something about it. And it feels like that was it was a divine message. It was like it finally clicked. It finally happened in their mind where they realized, like, it was that communication path opened up spiritually to their higher self or their guardian angels to be like, hey, listen, like, this is what's going on. Like, let's do it. Let's make a change. Let's start doing something about this. And they realized that the ability and the power to make something happen between you guys is within their abilities. It kind of feels like they felt powerless before, or they were unsure of what to do, or they just didn't know, like, the extent of their feelings. It's kind of like if someone's living in their head, right? Like, I'm repeating myself about this because this is a big message for a lot of you guys, where they were living in their head for so long about you. You know, it's like they go to bed thinking about you. They wake up thinking about you. They are excited to go to sleep because it gives them that period of silence where they can close their eyes and like envision you, or envision a future with you, or envision, you know, shared moments together, and hopefully have a dream of you guys. You know, during the day, it's like while they're working or doing something where they can just let their mind wander, they think about you. And so they never made that connection that in thought, in spirit, they were already with you. They were already connected to you. You know, if you're investing so much of that energy towards another person, and yet your real life is telling another story, emotionally and mentally, you're committed to whatever is in your mind, right? They're just kind of functioning in the world as something else. And it just hit them somehow. Whatever way pertains to your person, that truth hit them and they're like, okay, you know, this is exciting. This is really exciting. I want to be able to honor them by bringing this into the real world instead of just hoping for it to happen or kind of like dreaming for it to happen. And it feels like this doesn't come without fear or adjustments. But they're in this period, like while you're watching this, they're in this period of confidence. Like they feel very confident about themselves. They feel like they have all the capabilities to put this into action, put this into play. So they see you as marriage material. Again, as they see you as marriage material. They see you as forever material, committed for life. And you're everything that they could ever want and imagine in a person. You're everything perfect to them. And there's a message I'm getting where they appreciate that you haven't fluctuated in either reciprocating the way that they feel, or you've been patient with them, you've been understanding, you've been loving, like a constant, you know, or you feel safe to them, you know, or you haven't reacted or overreacted to maybe how they've appeared to you or how they've come to you, like talk to you or whatever. So they really appreciate that because it makes them feel more secure, makes them feel safe to realize like, hey, I've been very hard-headed with the way that I've like presented myself. Like I've taken a lot longer than they would have liked. Like that's what they're saying. Like they recognize that you would have wanted things to go a little bit sooner, like maybe at the time that you recognized this connection, or you saw that they cared so deeply for you and were invested, and it's like, well, like let's get it going. Or if this is, it could be a long distance, you know, for this to be about marriage so much, if you guys are in long distance or whatever, it's like they see that they could have done something about it sooner but they needed to come to that realization first. So they really appreciate that. They really, really do. And it's almost like gift to you, like they want to gift something to you, like tangible, and whether that's just again bringing this into the real world or like physically giving you something, it's like that's the way that they intend to honor you, is like through the changing of the tides, the changing of the seasons. I want you to be able to have this gift because you've been my constant. You've been that steady person for me. Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, Six of Pentacles, it's like they want to give back to you. A lot of Pentacles, so it does kind of feel like it's been a while. See, more Pentacles. It seems the storyline that I'm getting here is they had to take care of something first. It's like I had to take care of business first. I had to take care of me first. I had to prioritize the important things in my everyday life and get it structured in a way that would be more accommodating to you, whether I was aware of this or not. Like, that's what I was doing. And I don't want to wait any longer, because I realize if I keep waiting on this, then it's going to end up hurting me. You know, it's kind of like waiting. I was going to say waiting for the perfect moment, but it's an example that I'm getting is like if you're on a rope, right? Like a swing rope, and like you let go and you jump into the water. So like a river rope. And you're swinging on it, right? And you have to have patience. You can't just hang on to the rope and then let go immediately, or you're gonna fall into the brush, or you're not gonna be at the peak moment where it's gonna be really, really fun. But if you keep hanging on, then that rope is eventually gonna get to some uncomfortable positions, and you're either gonna get tired and just like fall off and hurt yourself, or you're gonna miss your moment. All the negative aspects of hanging on too long. And so it feels like the moment is ripe, and they're recognizing that they have to make a move when it comes to you in this moment of harvest, in this moment of full peak ripeness. Otherwise, it's going to they're going to be sabotaged. Like, there is self-sabotage. And they also want you to know that this is going to be taking a lot of courage. With a strength, that's taking a lot of courage for them to do this, because it's a little bit out of their element. It's like they haven't felt this way about someone before, and they recognize, they just really appreciate you. Like, I'm being pulled back to this, where a great relationship is one that both supports and challenges. And I feel like that's how they perceive you, is that you've been so supportive for them, and the challenge isn't negative. It's not like it's not like it's obstacles between each other, like against each other. It's a challenge to overcome their insecurities or their shortcomings. And that is just so beautiful to them and to you. It's so enriching, right? Like, it's enriching for your soul to see that there's a relationship or like a connection with someone that isn't against each other. It's like we're not fighting for a connection where the issues are something that didn't have, it's like it kind of like trivial stuff. Like, this is the issues that are coming between us are things that we need to adjust within ourselves in order to become better people. And becoming better people means that we're better for each other. And so that's where that challenge comes from. Like, you challenge me to be a better person. You challenge me to work harder on myself. You challenge me to break out of my shell or my shyness and say, I'm able to do this, or I'm capable of doing this, you know, in a relationship. And even moments where your person might have felt more comfortable, like receiving love, receiving attention, more on a selfish energy, that they're like that energy, like they needed it. they needed that. So it was a positive type of selfishness where they needed that safety, that confirmation, and that love at the time in order to kind of build themselves up. And it wasn't lost. What's the word I'm trying to say? It's like that. It's like when someone does something, it's like that wasn't lost on me. Like I appreciated that, and I want to give back. Right? Like it's kind of like letting them. It's kind of like this. What I see is like you lending them money, and they used it to build an empire. And in that, because they were able to turn that around, they can pay you back and then some, and help others, right? So your connection has inspired them to become a better person, not just for the relationship, but for everyone else. And that vibrates, right, to everyone else, because as other people see the kindness in them and in you, right, because this is simpatico, both of you are doing the same thing, that inspires other people to have a happier outlook on life or a happier mood. And so that's that reverberation into the world. So that's really great. I'm going to pull one more. The initiation rite of passage. So yeah, they realize that this, and for both of you, that this is a rite of passage, that like through the storm, right, there's something very beautiful on the end of it. Through the negative temptations, the exterior temptations of life, of like being tempted to be in your shell, you know, and live in the fantasy, that there's something more to it. And that it's okay and it's safe to take that first leap into the unknown. It's safe to trust in faith, right? Have faith that things will work out in whatever best serves you. And that's something that they've learned, and you're learning as well. So that's what I see, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.